Ladies and gentlemen, it's a new day on Press Hour, and we're very glad to welcome you on board. The birth certificate is the first and foundation of the identity of every human being. It is the reference of all the other civil status registration documents, marriage, death, national identity cards, you name them. That some 7 million out of about 28 million Cameroonians do not have registered birth certificates is a big problem. On today's edition of Press Hour, we shall identify some of the causes of this big problem in the wake of the first National Forum on Birth Certificates in Yaoundé, organized by the Ministry of Decentralization and Local Development. We are also in the heat of activities marking the year's International Labour Day. What are the problems Cameroonian workers or workers in Cameroon face with focus on the Interprofessional Guarantee Minimum Wage, the SMIC, which stands at 41 and 43,000 CFA francs for civil servants and agricultural sector workers, and 60,000 francs for those who are in the other sectors. We are asking the questions with what we have out here as hardship, as the conditions of living. What would a Cameroonian, one who has people to feed, he has a family, what would they do with 43,000 CFA francs a month? Those are some of the questions we're going to answer here, and I know they interest all of us to talk about this. On Press Hour today, we have invited people who are experts in the two domains, and I introduce to you Mr. Sinke Ashu is the Director of Audit and Management Control in the National Civil Status Registration Office that deals with civil status registration documents. Welcome to Press Hour, sir.
Thank you very much, Killian, and thanks for having me.
We are very honored with your presence, and I introduce here Roland Jamsi, who is the Inspector General of Services in the Ministry of Labor and Social Security. Welcome, sir.
Thanks, Killian. It's always a pleasure to be on your program.
The pleasure is shared. We have another person who is representing a whole ministry here, Mr. Manyanye Paul Ikome. He is the Director of Communication and Public Relations in the Ministry of Decentralization and Local Development. He is also a journalist. Then when he speaks, you have a bit of everything in him. Thank you very much for coming.
Hello, Killian. Thank you very much. Like the previous speaker said, it's an honor to be guest on your program.
It's our honor equally. Thank you very much. One of us, Dr. Matute Mignoli. Mignoli is a super-skilled journalist. He is a doctor in mass communication. That's his specialty. Thank you very much, Senior, for being on this set.
Killian, I'm very pleased to be here, and it's always an honor.
It's our honor, all of us, ladies and gentlemen, and we know also that you look forward to having a very incisive, instructive debate as we roll on, beginning with press review, and Yoti Kalele Songe read the newspapers for what the newspaper said in the week that just ended. Yoti?
Pressmen revisited the Civil Status Registry this week with statistics on the number of Cameroonians without birth certificates grabbing their attention. The fact that 7 million nationals don't have birth certificates is alarming on the Herald Tribune. The actuality rings even louder on municipal updates. Cameroon Tribune simply headlines, birth certificates, 7 million people not registered. Data on the execution rate of some road projects were also published this week. The Horizon discloses that as far as Phase 2 of the Yaoundé-Douala Highway project is concerned, 0% progress has been made, while the Median reveals that it's a dream come true for those plying the Bamenda-Babaju road that is already 98% complete. Meantime, the Guardian Post informs readers that Bamenda has been allotted 30 billion CFA francs to construct and upgrade roads. The Yaoundé police car check sham also occupied the column of the Post newspaper, whilst Cameroon Tribune brings to the limelight that the Cameroon-Equatorial Guinea Maritime Transport Line is open, just as the Horizon writes about the speed breaks to Cameroon's import substitution, identifying land issues as one. Nonetheless, Bangam has been promised a plantain factory, and Eco Outlook has an article on the consultation between Bangam stakeholders and the Minister of Agriculture in Yaoundé. Meanwhile, the Bank of Central African States has begun producing new coins to tackle the persistent shortage, which the Horizon explains in detail. Other stories like the Register Your Vote Now hashtag, Minister Nalova Lyunga launching practicals for the 2024 official examination session, beginning with sports and physical education, and the NASLA bus extending the registration deadline for the 2024 entrance examinations to May 3, coupled with the Cameroon International Film Festival targeting the empowerment of young talents and the 2024 Labour Day focusing on social dialogue, also made news in the course of the week. The tabloids further captured Victoria United presenting their trophy to Prime Minister Joseph John Gutte at the Star Building. The Guardian Post puts the spotlight on the team, with the PM offering a 10 million CFA franc support. Money Municipal Updates ads will be used to begin preparations for the CAF Champions League. Another edition of the same newspaper has a story on the Limbe City Mayor pledging more support to Victoria United. As the team is celebrated, the Guardian Post breaks news on the CAF president, hinting possible sanctions on the Fecafoot president Samuel Eto'o following a hearing on match-fixing allegations.
Thank you very much, Yoti. Two big events of the week that the newspapers captured, and we are also going to focus our discussion on the two events, civil status registration. What is blocking the issuance of birth certificates? If you like, by extension, we have other certificates, we have other cards, which we are not going to talk about, but it's in the same register. Why don't we have basic documents like the national identity cards? Our focus today will just be on the birth certificate, but our question is going across the board. We also have heard from the newspapers that Labour Day is coming up in 3 days, and activities are hotting up for that event to take place. We just have 3 days, and we had to talk about that. We have invited the Inspector General of Services in the Ministry of Labour and Social Security, Mr. Njamsi Roland. This year, tell us exactly what is the theme of celebration or commemoration of Labour Day? Because if you ask Cameroonian workers, they will say, no, I don't know what I'm celebrating. Conditions are hard. We'd rather commemorate, just think about it than celebrate. So what is the theme this year?
Once again, thank you very much, Mr. Killian. This year's Labour Day was celebrated on the theme Constructive Social Dialogue, a vector for decent work and social progress.
Yes, that theme highlights social dialogue. Vector of decent work. I was just talking about work. Let's look at social dialogue. What's the context? Talk to us about this context.
Yes, social dialogue is as defined by the International Labour Organization, which means all types of negotiations, consultations, or simply exchange of information between representatives of government, employers, and workers on issues of common interest. So the context is we know we have a lot of crises, both international crises as well as national crises. So for everybody to be able to to survive in this environment, we need that all the parties in the labor world need to sit around the table to discuss frankly these issues. These are the problems that we are facing. How can we come out with this solution? Because no party alone can do it. So the call is for all the parties to play their role, play fully their role, so as work out and come out with acceptable solution to all.
Yes.
Which can save the common good.
Constructive social dialogue, vector of decent work and social progress. Decent work. How can you by coming up with this topic, call it theme, is like acknowledging, as you have said, that we have so many problems, crises, and international and local, internal, if you like, crisis. So we accept that it is difficult. What is the situation of work in this country? Because you are experts from the Ministry of Labour.
Yes, the situation is a two-way solution, because there is a formal sector which is well organized, where people actually work under acceptable conditions and they earn good salaries. They are capable of living their lives normally and meeting all their needs. Then there is equally the informal sector, where it is absolutely difficult because nobody knows exactly what is passing there. And it is like a jungle because it is difficult. The amount that people are paid, is it what is legally what are supposed to be paid? It is difficult. So it is true that the state has been working and doing a lot so as to improve working conditions, so that decent work can become a reality in Cameroon. But the truth is also that we still have a lot to do so as to reach an acceptable condition.
From what you've said, I should have just asked you, when an official from the Ministry of Labour says they don't control what happens in the informal sector, it means there's a problem, because you are not only involved in the formal sector. When you talk, first of all, about formal sector, you're talking about which are those areas of formal sector?
Okay, I would like to maybe before
formal sector first.
Before coming to the formal sector,
okay.
When we say that we don't control the informal sector, I would like to take, for example, like domestic workers, those working in private homes. At least maybe you have a babysitter or maybe a house help. But a labor inspector doesn't have the right just to walk into your home to control, to see the conditions under which your house help is working, and to verify how much you are paying her. We are talking of the minimum wage. The amount are you paying this amount? So that is already a legal barrier, which is already a problem because we cannot go that far. And then talking about the formal sector, for example, if you go to something like the banking sector, the insurance sector, those are sectors that are really paying. We're talking about this it means nothing to them. There are countries, there are companies here that you cannot even have somebody who's earning less than 100,000. Those are already acceptable situation. What we wish everybody could have been at that level, but the realities is somewhat difficult.
Yes, since you've raised that, I will talk about it before I go around the table. I wanted to also come back and focus on that. Give us that, what you call interprofessional guaranteed minimum wage, the lowest amount of money authorized by government of Cameroon for anyone working at any sector to earn. What are the categories? What are the amounts?
Yes, the Prime Minister's decree, which was signed in March of last year, fixed 3 minimum wages. The first for the public service, which is 41,875 francs. And then for the agricultural sector, it's 45,000. And then for all the other sectors, it's 60,000. So this is the lowest that should be paid.
Okay. 45 or 43?
45.
45.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much. We'll go around the table. When we come back, if you are watching this program and you have an interest, of course, if you are keeping someone and paying less than 41,000 francs, if it's your sector, you're going to get what you should do. Or if you are paid less than that amount, you just watch this program. The Inspector General of Services will tell you exactly what you should do so that you have exactly what you are due where you work, even if you are a house help. Now, I'm going to go around the table and ask Paul, how is the condition of work where you are, beginning with yourself? You have no problem. You are a director. But maybe you can speak for other workers.
I'm a civil servant. The government of Cameroon recognizes me as a civil servant.
Yes.
And so I will say at the Ministry of Decentralization and Local Development, the conditions are, in accordance with the decree signed by the Prime Minister, head of government. And we are also trying as much as we possibly can to ensure that in all regional and local authorities, I'm talking here about regional councils, regional assemblies, but also our divisional subdivisional councils and urban councils or city councils, if you like, we are putting in place measures to ensure that workers earn what is in accordance with the government's prescriptions. And in that direction, we are even leading an ongoing reflection now to put in place a local public service, which will not only look at the salary situation of workers, but it will also look at the overall working conditions of workers in terms of flexibility, in terms of mobility, and all of that.
I like the analysis you made, especially talking about the local public service, decentralized public service. You just did well. I didn't see you talking about that, and you've just talked about what is natural in your domain. I like that, and so that people who are working in Kuseri, people who are working in Bakassi, should have their documents treated there where they are.
Absolutely.
Yes, they should not leave that place, come to Yaoundé to do what we say, follow their documents.
Absolutely.
Now I'm going to ask this question to Dr. Matute Munyole. I'm not going to ask a personal question. You are, as a journalist, you are an observer from the point of view of an observer, critical analysis. What would you say is the nature, are the conditions of work in Cameroon?
Well, thank you very much, Killian, for that question. I think that the Inspector General actually gave us the situation as it is obtained in the country today, and to some extent, he was very honest when he he was very honest and frank when he said that, talked about the formal and informal sector. The truth is that there is a lot of work still to be done to adjust the situation, be it at the formal or the informal sector. And we will also agree that the government has made a lot of effort, especially the past couple of years, trying to adjust the situation, by augmenting the situation from 30, I think it was 36, now we are 41.
There was one, when I started work, I had worked at your ministry of, at the time was Employment, Labor and Social Insurance. I was there. At that time was 23. He left 23 to 28, 28 to 36, and now it's 41. Yes, I have the figures offhand. I worked actually in that ministry. Okay. I know about that. So I agree with you. Of course. There are some efforts that are done, but are they commensurate with the actual situation? That's
no, if you look at the standard of living in the country today, you agree with me that we still have a long way to go. Yeah.
Now to Mr. Ashu, you are also a worker, middle age, I should say. You should not be of the bourgeois standard. You are not of the lower rung of workers.
Absolutely.
You should be a middle class.
Yeah.
Yes, that's even the more comfortable place where we assess the development of a state or of a country. When you have so many people who are in that middle class, you can assess and say the economy is doing well. From your own perspective, how will you assess work in Cameroon?
I think from the theme of this year's celebration of Labor Day, which is that of constructive social dialogue, vector of decent work and social progress, there is much that that we can pick out from. We should say that social progress, like the word goes, it is a progress, it's a situation, it's evolving. We are not yet there already, but we are working towards achieving that. I want to talk about the situation based on who I am and how I serve. I am a public estate agent. I work with the National Civil Status Registration Office. And then within the ranks of the Civil Status Registration System, we have civil status registrars and even secretaries who, in quotes, are not totally covered. They are paid per their work, the work they do. The legislation in force gives 100 francs per a certificate issued. So this is a challenging situation that I should raise. But we should say that the government is doing everything. For example, there is a bill that is underway. Very soon, I'm sure it will be tabled at the level of the National Assembly to look at the situation of the civil status registrars and secretaries that are serving within this, what I can call local public service.
Exactly.
If I could take the terminology from
that is exactly. Thank you very much for opening up to that aspect. Now we're going to conclude this with focus and the interprofessional guaranteed minimum wage, which we started and we promised we're going to come back to it. Now, Mr. Inspector General of Services, someone somewhere is working or has worked, has been dismissed, the contract has been terminated abusively, the person doesn't know where to go to. Where should that person go to? First question. When you answer that, we're going to ask, if someone is working in someone's house as a help and is not paid anything at the end of the month, what should that person do? Or is paid 10,000, 15, 20, 30, or even 40? Is not up to 41. What should that person do?
Thank you very much, Mr. Killian, for those questions. The first one is if somebody is working and has been dismissed or has issues with his employer, where should they go to? He should go to the Labor Inspectorate. That is the operational arm of the ministry. They are both regional and divisional delegations. That is the best place for you to go. And I would like to encourage the public. Please, there are people working there, they are waiting for you, and they are ready to render your services. So feel free to go to them with your complaints.
Now, if they go there, I am telling you, what will someone who is working with one of these multinationals, for example, or even a local company that is very powerful, what will one small worker do when they go to the Labor Inspectorate, and then that multinational or the big company goes there and looks at the Labor Inspector and says, what are you doing? And the complainant, the person who went to complain, is forgotten, because as we speak, there are cases like that.
I would have loved to have good examples of such cases, so that I would like to handle them myself, because in the ministry there is a control mechanism to make sure that what transpired at the Labor Inspectorate is in accordance with the law. And then there is an email address and a telephone number which is pasted in all the regional delegations and the divisional delegations. So if you feel that your file was not properly treated, you can use this mechanism.
That applies also to those who are working in people's houses and not paid, or in other companies and are not paid, is that?
It applies, yes. Any information that concerns the ministry,
Yes.
use this line. It's like a hotline.
Give us that address.
The email address is cabinet@yahoo.fr.
Cabinet
TSS.
cabinet is like cabinet.
Yes, like cabinet.
Min is MINTSS at yahoo.fr.
FR.
And all written in small letters.
Small letters.
Lowercase.
Yeah.
Now there is a number attached to it.
The number attached to it is a telephone number which is 2222 300 04.
222 23 0004.
04.
That is it.
Yes, that is it. So if you use either the email address or this number, it will reach the minister directly.
Okay.
And he will give out direct instructions. And I have the privilege to say that cases that comes through this number, he sends them to me and I handle them directly.
Thank you very much. You've heard the Inspector General of Services in the Ministry of Labor and Social Security. So many of you may know me better. If you have the problems you can't get to him, or you've written, you bring them, I will take to him, because next year I will invite him here and tell him that people brought their files to me and the people are still there. That is why Press R is here, and I sincerely ask this. You've said this here, and we want to connect to make sure that our public is served. I think with this we can. Yes, one last word. Then
Yes,
we'll move
I'd
on
like to talk to those domestic workers.
Yes.
To feel that it is, for now, it is difficult for us to meet them at their place of work. But if they come to the Labor Inspectorate, they will be treated as all other workers, as normal workers. So their complaints will be received and treated normally. So they are encouraged to come whenever they have their problems.
Okay.
When they come to your office, that is where the problem is, and go back to meet their master. Will they be welcome back in their house? How do they do that without the master being aware? Because that is synonymous to signing your dismissal.
Protect them.
Or
Is there any way
even
to protect?
yeah. Is there any protective?
For them, we still have a problem because we cannot have access directly to their workplaces.
Mm-hmm.
But for all the others, if they can give us information, because we know all the labor inspectors are under an oath not to disclose the source of the information.
Oh, very good.
Mm-hmm. But for those who are working there, if you bring the information, it will still be difficult for us to come and verify at your workplace. But if they come with the information, being that whether they are dismissed or whatsoever, we will treat them normally as all workers.
Thank you very much. As I said earlier, bring your complaints if you feel that you've been dismissed and someone is threatening you because the person has money. The Inspector General, on behalf of the Minister of Labor and Social Security, is saying you should bring those things up. They're going to handle them. Thank you. You stay on with us. We're going to move into the second topic, which is actually the focus of today. Civil studies registration. What is blocking the issuance of those documents that are vital for our daily lives, for our lifetime on earth? And this comes on the heels. This comes in the wake of the National Forum on Birth Certificates in Cameroon, organized by the Ministry of Decentralization and Local Development. Just this transition, this interlude, and we're going to move into that topic. Civil status registration. What is blocking the issuance of those documents, especially the birth certificates? We are told that about 7 million Cameroonians do not have birth certificates. That is a startling figure in a country that has 28 to 30 million citizens. 7 to 28 is 1/4 of a country not having birth certificates. That's alarming. And I turn now to the Director of Communication and Public Relations in the Ministry of Decentralization and Local Development, own Manyanye Paul Ekome. Now, tell us more about this figure.
Yes, Kilian, you are right. About 7 million Cameroonians do not have birth certificates. That's true. We've revealed that. It's also important to highlight the fact that of that figure, 1.5 million are children of school-going age. That too is clear. So it was against this backdrop that the Ministry of Decentralization and Local Development, in partnership with UNICEF, thought it wise to organize the first national forum on maize on universal birth registration in Cameroon. So what is the idea? The idea was to unveil the facts, the raw facts as they are, and then think together. We brought in all the mayors, 374 in total. We brought them in Yaoundé for a period of 2 days, during which we had discussions in plenary. We had 8 different workshops, and together we tried to identify possible solutions. And at the end of it, a charter was produced. A charter of mayors was produced, and all mayors, actually signed on this charter, committing that they are going to do everything they possibly can to ensure that civil status registration, but most especially birth registration, becomes a central issue in their work, because there is no lasting public policy that can be put in place if we do not master our population, if we do not have specifics on population growth and all of that. So we have we carried out the forum, and we are still working with other partners, international and local. May I also say here, Kilian, that the forum has not been the only thing we've done to address this problem. As I speak, there is an ongoing operation in the far north region, in the north, Adamawa, east and southwest of Cameroon. It's actually a presidential prescription which authorizes the Ministry of Decentralization and Local Development to ensure that this year at least 500,000 Cameroonians should be issued birth certificates. It's a presidential prescription. Money was given for that purpose, and on the field, work is ongoing with the judiciary, but also with the administration. So we want to ensure that children who do not have birth certificates are issued birth certificates. People who had misplaced their birth certificates for one reason or another are also issued birth certificates. That is why I said we are working with the judiciary and the administration. Remember, I want to insist on the administration.
I was actually going to come to that. Thank
Yes.
God you're bringing that up yourself. Yes, go
Yes, I want to insist on the administration, because if you read the 1981 ordinance on civil state on issues related to birth certificates, that is civil status, you will realize that section 26 of that ordinance makes it clear that in regions where you have a conflict or a natural disaster, the administration has the power to organize itself and issue birth certificates to people who don't have. So that is what is taking place as I speak in the southwest region, where the security situation is not the best, but we are also thankful because the government is doing everything possible to ensure that calm, peace, and order are restored in that part of the country.
Thank you very much. You see, I couldn't even stop you for a second because the explanations were taking us off guard, and we just had to be in that situation. You put us in a kind of spellbound. We have Sinke Ashu, who is from the National Civil Status Registration Office. That is actually the competent body in Cameroon that checks and controls the birth certificates and other civil status registration documents. We're just going to ask you, what is the problem?
The problem, Killian, you asked the question, what is the problem? I want to say that the civil status registration system of Cameroon since 2010 has been under government's watchful eyes to ensure that checks are brought to the challenges that characterized the system. What were some of these challenges? It should interest viewers to know that before 2011, which saw the amendment of the legal instrument governing civil status registration in Cameroon, that is Ordinance number 81/2 of 29 June 1981, we had problems like documentary fraud. We had the lack of effective training of civil status staff. We had the non-functional nature of secondary civil status registries. Which are the registries that the government has put in peripheries to ensure that births that occur in these areas are recorded immediately they occur. These are what we call secondary civil status registries. So we had all these dysfunctional issues that characterized the civil status registration system of Cameroon. But now you are asking the problem. What
is the problem that we have?
What is the problem? The truth is that the problems are multifaceted.
Yes.
We have religious and socio-cultural barriers, for example, to civil status registration.
Talk to us more about that.
Okay. Socio-culture, there are societies in Cameroon, there are communities which actually their culture do not favor civil status registration. They don't favor civil status registration. And even where sensitization campaigns are carried out, the truth is that some of these members from this community decide to establish because they were caused or even compelled to establish, but they do not withdraw their certificates from civil status registries.
Okay.
Some of them even explain by saying that the nature of maybe their homes do not permit them to keep such very vital documents. They prefer to rather it might be shocking. It might be shocking, but it's a truth. They prefer to keep it there, and when need arises, they'll go there for collection.
Yeah, I actually get that point. I've gone to some remote areas where you barely just have a floor with something like tents. We still know, even in some areas of our towns today, I'm talking about big towns, when it rains, there are people who carry their luggage on their head. That is the reality. So I'm trying to read into what you are saying. Talk less of those who are in areas that are far remote from towns. Yes.
Thank you very much, Killian. To continue in that light, there is also the issue, the problem of non-respect of the principle of gratuity.
Yes.
This should be totally openly said.
Yes.
That civil status registration in Cameroon, as per the 1981 ordinance is free of charge. Section 17 sub 1 of that ordinance, as amended by the decree of 2011, makes that document totally free of charge. However, viewers should understand that there are time frames within which this document is supposed to be established. The section 31 of that 1981 ordinance gives 30 days to health facilities, and if you permit me, I will cite it.
Yes.
Section 31 of that ordinance says that when a child is born in a health facility, the head of that health facility, or failure which the physician serving in that health facility, or any person who assisted the mother in childbearing, shall have that obligation of declaring the birth of this child 30 days within 30 days after the birth to the territorially competent civil status registry. That is the first case. If this is not done, Section 30 gives additional 60 days to the parents of the child to go to the territorially competent civil status registry and declare the birth of that child. Within this time frame, that is 30 days plus 60 days, that makes 90 days, birth registration is free of charge. To that, you can add Section 32 of that same ordinance that says all births occurring between the 91st day right up to the 6th month after the birth of that child shall be recorded by requisition to the State Council. This is still free of charge. This is still free of charge.
Yes,
now,
but it becomes complicated at that level because it's, State Council is already a court case.
Oh, thank you very much, Killian, for bringing that. At the level of the State Council, it is not yet a court case, and this should be said, and so that the public can be clear about this.
It's a public hearing.
It's a public hearing. It's a public hearing, but what actually gives rise to what you have termed a court case is the situations that arise after the 6th month that we talk about the issuance of a court judgment. Okay. A court judgment comes in after even right up to the 6th month, nothing has been done about that.
Practically, what are you advising our parents, our brothers and sisters concerning birth?
Thank you very much, Killian. I'm happy for this opportunity that you are giving the National Civil Status Registration Office to address the entire population of Cameroon. Please, when your child is born in a health facility, the first thing is that just know that before the child comes to the world, you are supposed to do preparation.
Yes.
Now, when you are preparing to buy dresses for that child and you are doing other preparations, know that this child is supposed to have legal existence.
Exact.
Now, if you are married, try to do a photocopy of your husband's, your spouse's, or the person who made you pregnant. Yes. Try to have a photocopy of of his ID card. If you don't have an ID card, you can even photocopy his birth certificate. Mm-hmm. Now you put it at the disposal of the health administration where you are supposed to give birth, and just after that, I'm advising now the directors, the heads of health facilities and medical institutions where women give birth, that please, the transmission of birth declaration is obligatory. It is obligatory, and it is punishable if you fail to transmit this birth declaration. Just after that, the interest of this advice is that all births that have occurred so far will systematically be transmitted to the territorially competent civil status registries, and they will eventually be registered. So this will help avoid the escape in this registration process.
Dr. Matute Mignoli, I wanted us to listen to what some of the mayors who came from far and near and attended the national forum, the first national forum on the civil status registration. On birth registration, thank you. Civil status registration with focus on birth registration. Well, but since you want to say something, say it, and then let us see what some of the mayors are doing and what they are facing as problems.
Anyway, maybe before we get to them, Kilian, I was just going to say that I listened to Mr. Ashu, and I don't have any reason to doubt or contest what is being said, because these are official facts that he has. But when I look at the level of persons who do not have birth certificates, beginning from, let's say, 2018, we had that more than 1 million. By 2020, we had that is more than 2-3 million. By 2022, we're already at 4. Now we're already at 7
million.
I think that maybe the problem to me is maybe far beyond that. Sometimes I ask myself, is it that even the communication aspect of it, has it sensitizing people? Has it failed? What is really happening? Because we know that Cameroonians are very slow to embracing things that are very positive. I'm sorry to say that. Mm-hmm. But you see, you talk about road signs, even in programs and everything, but
nobody cares.
Nobody really cares. So I was just wondering, what the real problem, we need to get to the real problem.
Kilian, permit me to step in?
Yes.
Permit me to step in. I want to say that what we see as those figures that we term disturbing, to me, I celebrate these figures. Why? The first step towards solving a problem is proper diagnosis. Mm-hmm. Now, if you look at the years that you are citing where this problem has finally come up, erupted, and it has come to public hearing and people are talking about it. Look at when the national civil status was created. These are fruits of the sensitization and the effective work that the National Civil Status Registration Office is doing. Mm-hmm. The question that many Cameroonians are not asking is, why do people not have these certificates? Is it because they have misplaced them? Is it because they have been sensitized and some of them think that what they have in their hands were fabricated maybe at the roadsides, and they know that in the event of computerization, they will not be included in the computerization process? Why are they not having? Thank
you for addressing those. Yes.
Yes. Why? What accounts for the figures? We have, like Ashu said at the beginning of the program, the causes are multifaceted. You have what we may call roadside certificates. But more than that, we have other technical issues, and we should be honest enough to say them. Permit me to use the phrase raw material. At times, the raw material needed for the production and delivery of those certificates are not available. And that is why we actually decided, that is why the Ministry of Decentralization and Local Development, in partnership with UNICEF, actually decided to convene this forum so that we do education and also sensitization, okay? Because you have, at times when for a birth certificate to be delivered, you need a booklet.
Yes.
There are a lot of complications related to booklets. Mm-hmm. For the booklets to be readily available, you need money, because somebody has to fabricate the booklet somewhere.
Yes.
So what we are saying
someone
today,
has to pay for it.
Yes, what we are saying today is that the solution to this problem is national. Everybody is a stakeholder. People who have to provide money for booklets to be produced should do it. People who have to ensure that booklets are available at the level of councils and secondary civil status registration centers should do it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Now, we have some of these people who attended the National Forum, and personally, we interviewed some of them. Ask them to tell us what's the situation and what could be the implications of some of these things. And watch these 3 mayors. 2 first, and we'll come back with 1.
What they have to spend there is not much but it appears to be much for majority of the citizens of the municipality. The crisis has affected almost everything, including the civil status, I would say, because it's not that people are feeling free, but during the crisis it was a little bit difficult for people to move. Everybody is feeling free now, but there have been so many displacements. People have left Bangam municipality and gone to other places. People have left other places and come to Bangam when they hear that there's relative peace.
This very important document is not easy to have because some parents don't want to declare it in our councils. We have been obliged to create the office in most of our hospitals to put there a service. They take information from parents, the name, the date, the hour of birthday, and to give us in our office. We prepare document for birth certificate, and this is not easy because some parents give birth in their relative homes and not come to hospital. We are fighting this issue.
I should say these are revelations from stakeholders, people who are on the ground. They are telling us what's happening. We have another mayor who is going to, we watched the two mayors, the mayor of Bangam. And in Bangam, truly, in terms of crisis, he said that it's behind them because they have succeeded to have peace back in Bangam. Relatively, they are doing very well. We should give credit to the people of Bangam and the members of the elite of that subdivision. They are doing a lot to make sure that what's happening in other places is not happening there. That's a fact, verified, and I've verified that myself. We say kudos to them. We've also seen the mayor of Tinye, he's in the Adamawa, who says that they go to the hospitals. Mr. Ashu said it's an obligation for those in the hospital, the doctors or those who do help delivery. Obligation means they are obliged to do that.
Mandatory.
Now, mandatory, thank you very much. Let us listen to the last mayor. You've taken notes so that after that we can discuss and close the program. This is the mayor of Kombo Abedimo in Bakassi. Bakassi is Indian. Listen very carefully. Watch very carefully what he's going to say. He's a frank person.
The situation of birth certificate in my municipality is very, very complicating. To issue a birth certificate, in most cases, you have to go through a court judgment. And considering the fact that the numerical strength of non-Cameroonians resident in our municipality is no longer a secret, some of them want to hide behind these documents to obtain Cameroonian nationality. I want to be honest, we have sometimes erroneously signed documents like that because we based our mind on the judgment, declarative judgment that they bring from the court, since we don't have the right to be judging documents that have been signed by magistrate. So I think our coming year is going to help us seriously to see how to tackle this thing. My fear is that if care is not taken, at the end of the day, the approach that we're going to take, if we're not careful, we will give out birth certificates to foreigners who will exploit this birth certificate and obtain Cameroonian nationality. We have to be very tactful. I think at the end of the day, if a special eye is being put on the issue of civil status in the Bakassi Peninsula and Kombo Abedimo in particular, I think we will be solving a problem to avoid the floating of Cameroonian nationality as if it is granite.
Thank you very much. I don't even think that we should dream of making our documentation to be floating, to use your words like granite. I'm not going to talk so much. Paul Manyani Ekome, you listened, you watched those mayors, you are the one to react first. Hospitals, that's a mayor from Tinye who says he has extended their services to the hospitals.
Absolutely, Killian. I mean, I listened to your to the mayors with a lot of interest, and I want to commend the people of Tinye for what they have done. And you know, one of the reasons behind the organization of the first National Forum of Mayors on universal birth registration was also for some kind of benchmarking and sharing of best practices. Yeah, so in Tinye, the mayor announced that they have a makeshift secondary civil status center in the hospital. That's good, and I think other mayors should be able to
follow that good example.
Follow that example, because it's a serious problem. We're talking about 7 million Cameroonians who do not have birth certificates. So if nothing is done, the figure is going to move up. Now, the second point, I listened to the mayor of Kombo Abedimo, but I mean it beats my imagination. Why should an ordinary birth certificate be issued on the basis of a court judgment?
Yes, no, he said that. I think the BUNEC, that is the National Civil Status Registration Office, will answer that. He already touched on that.
Yeah,
when you go beyond...
He didn't talk about the deadlines. He said for a birth certificate to be issued, it means if a child is born now in his municipality, before issuing the birth certificate, they need a court judgment.
I think he was extending to when you've gone past the deadlines.
Okay, perfect. If it's 1 minute, please.
We have 3 minutes. We have to go around
just 30 seconds. If it's beyond the deadline, that's very true. And one of the recommendations of the mayors during the forum was that the deadline, which currently stands at 3 months, be extended to 12 months. So we are going to put that particular recommendation to the powers that be. And considering that we want to solve the problem, I know they will definitely
I like that. Personally, I like that, because sometimes when we have births, the mother is in trouble. You will not leave the mother who is suffering or the child who is suffering to go and be following up that. You're completely taken off.
Definitely.
I agree with you. Yes, Matute, Dr. Matute, the last word, because we have 2 minutes left and we have to listen to... We have not heard a word from the Inspector General.
No, I just want to say that I think that the mayor there maybe is talking about a situation where they absolutely want to control the nationality of the children who are being recorded and given birth certificates. That's what I understood from what he said. But that aside, I want to appeal that maybe the government should look for a way to make it easier. He was talking about...
extending to 12 months.
Yes, extending to 12 months. 12 months.
Yes.
And, of course, increase the number of special drive. Because I was really happy when Zamanyanya talked about the special drive that is going on in so many regions.
Thank you.
That way we can really
we'll solve the problem. Thank you very much. The last word will be yours. Let me listen to the BUNEC, that is the National Civil Status Registration. Just, there's an issue you have to address, please, in 40 seconds.
As with respect to nationality, we should know that one of the amendments that were ushered in through the decree of 2011 that amended the 1981 ordinance was the concept of nationality. Henceforth, when a child is born, the nationality is already addressed. If the child is a Nigerian, you write Nigerian. If the child is a Cameroonian, you write that the child is a Cameroonian. With respect to civil status registration offices working with the health facilities, the general manager of the National Civil Status Registration Office has, since the last 3 months, been trying to inaugurate this cooperation between health facilities and main and secondary civil status registries.
Thank you.
And the essence is to avoid the escape of data.
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much. You've not said anything. Please, we cannot leave you in the cold like that. Yes, on this birth certificate, just conclusively.
Yes, just one thing. I listened with a lot of interest to what the ministers were saying. And one important thing that the mayor of Chinyere raised, the issue of some women giving birth at home.
Yes, in their relatives' home.
In their homes, it means that there will be no birth
certificate.
There will be no declaration, no birth declaration. So on what basis will they establish a birth certificate? That is something that maybe we should start thinking.
Yeah, there's a procedure for that.
Yeah.
Yes, there's a procedure. We already have a procedure.
Yes, Killian, briefly, I just want to mention, as I said before, that the solution lies in the hands of everybody. And as we speak, there is a law at the national, there is a law which will soon go to the National Assembly, the new law on civil status registration. So we are also counting on our parliamentarians. If they think this is a problem that is serious enough, when the law gets to Parliament,
they should
accompany the government.
It is actually serious. Thank you very much. We are gone beyond our own time. Thank you very much. I cannot talk about. Know that in the Bakassi area in Dian, the situation there is different. We don't have time to talk. There was time that was given for those who are there. You decide whether you are Cameroonian or you are Nigerian. That time has passed. So that's why there's a problem there. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for giving us time on today's edition of Press Hour, on which you had the gentlemen you have. We don't have time to be introducing them again. You followed them. If you miss out on anything on this program today, you'll have a rebroadcast on Monday at 2:30 on CITV Premium, and on Wednesday after the news in French, that is at 9 p.m. On CRTV News. Thank you for watching.